One of the best Zenyatta skins is out right now, and today we're going to be deciding if the Nutcracker Zenyatta skin is worth it or not. So right now there is a Nutcracker Ballet bundle that contains the Nutcracker Rat King and Sugar Plum Fairy for 3,000 Overwatch coins, and this skin would normally go for 1,900 since it is a legendary skin. But anyways, let's check this thing out in our inventory. So the first thing I want to talk about is the theme of the skin, and obviously it is a Nutcracker. And what's really interesting about this is, first off, the orbs. The orbs are straight up little nuts. They're amazing. I don't know what kind of nuts those are, but those have really cool nut texture on them. That's gonna get me demonetized, but yeah, I mean, you can see, I mean, we'll look up a little bit closer because this is the main thing, the coolest thing about the skin to me is this nut. And it really has that cool little seam where the nut has the two little parts to it, the shell. Man, I really just love this texture. I think it is so cool. But up next, let's talk about this hair. He has this really long white hair in his back and kind of his beard and facial hair and stuff. Kind of reminiscent of, I guess, like typical Nutcracker facial features and stuff. But at the end of his long little piece of hair right here, we have a red little bow, which is pretty much the color scheme of this entire skin. We have a lot of red, we have a lot of white, and that's pretty much it. But looking at the face, you can actually see that this is completely made out of wood and a little bit of metal on the bottom. The face has this like really shiny, almost varnished paint to it a little bit. I mean, you can see a little freckle right here, another little freckle right here. The eyeballs are just straight up black, just black pieces of metal. We have, again, that white facial hair right here. A really cool piece of beard actually sticking out, other than it kind of just floating down his face. This one actually just sticks straight out. I think it's kind of funny. We have, again, if you look at like what a Nutcracker looks like, it has that like hinged jaw that like breaks the nuts open and stuff, and he has that right there in the mouth. He has creepy little teeth. I will admit they are a little creepy, but it does actually open up and down. He has a cool little hat on. It kind of is just a black hat with a red top on it, some gold on top of it, some gold ornate details. We have that like star detail that we actually see on a few other skins. This is always the same exact star pattern they use, which is continually pretty cool. But anyways, you know, other than that, let's take a look at his neck. Right here, this is where it's kind of interesting because it doesn't really, I feel like this doesn't really fit the theme, but we have these like hydraulics right here in the neck. They're like red with gold tips on them, and you can just see straight through the neck. I'm not sure, can you see that with like other, I guess you can see that with other Zenyatta skins, but I wish they would have enclosed that and made the whole skin wood. I think that would have looked a lot cooler. We have these like little shoulder cuff links. I don't know what those are called, but they're there, they're gold, they have these cool little gold embodiment to it. His little shirt, it is just a red velvet shirt that goes all the way down, and it has that gold lining on it with the gold buttons. He has a satchel that actually is literally just a belt wrapped around his shoulder for some reason. I don't know why the belt isn't on his waist, but the belt is over his shoulder. His gloves have these nice little black details. All the fingertips are gold, all the little joints are gold. The ends of the black gloves are also gold. And he has these just white pants on with literally no detail on them other than they're white. You can kind of see where they've been worn a little bit right here at the boots. And then the boots are exactly the same thing as the gloves. We have that cool gold trim on it, the gold buttons, and they are black. And now that we've looked at the skin, let's take a look at these emotes. We have stretch, dance, focusing, meditate, round of applause, taunt, tickled, and finally snowflake. Up next we have the victory poses. We have balance, harmony, peace, metal, pumpkin, RIP, toast, and meditation. And lastly, let's take a look at this gold weapon. So this is what it looks like before, and this is what it looks like after. And honestly, there really wasn't that much change. I mean, like, obviously it's just a nut, but I feel like the gold and the brown are pretty similar in color already, so I guarantee this would look phenomenal in game. I'm pretty impressed with this. Look at that highlight intro for him. That looks so cool. Amazing. All right, so obviously we're gonna take a look at this skin in game. And what's really interesting is the little nuts. So as we're jumping, you can actually see them jumping like kind of up and down. So they kind of jiggle with you, which is very interesting. That's the same thing with every single Zenyatta skin. So that's very cool. Here's the kick. You can see the leg and you can see the boot a little bit better. What's her hat look like? Yeah, the glove and the boot are kind of boring in my opinion. I feel like there's not much detail other than like the face and these little nuts. But whatever, what's it look like when we actually shoot our orb out? You can kind of just see the hands going out in different positions every time. Man, that looks pretty cool. Reload. Nice, you just kind of see the little nuts spinning around his neck. Okay, now what's interesting is when we actually do the Discord and when we actually like try to help a teammate, because they will always change color. So watch the nuts right here. So the little nut pops up yellow. You can see it right there on the right. Just keep watching that for a second. Look at that little animation. And this is what it looks like when we hit Discord. The little nut just kind of turns purple for a second. And I've always liked that about the skin. I always have thought that that is such a cool thing. But you know what? In game, I really feel like there's not much, you know, too much detail to the little nut. I mean, it is cool, but I feel like there's a little bit more that we could do there. I always look like when we actually charge up, hold these little orbs around. You know, I really wish that for all these skins that have like the different orbs, like the different shaped orbs, they would actually make this animation right here the same shape as those orbs, because that would have, I mean, that would make it so much cooler in my opinion. But you know, whatever. All right, so what's it sound like when we hit our ult real quick? Yeah, there it is. Experience Festivity. That is a unique voice line that we actually get for this skin, so that definitely gives it a lot of bonus points. I think that is super duper cool. But anyways, let's talk about this skin. So first I want to talk about some negatives. I really feel like there's not, again, I know I said this earlier, but I feel like there's not many details other than the orbs and the face and stuff like that. The boots and the legs, or like the boots and the arms, are just very boring. There's literally nothing other than a black color with some gold trim to it, and that's just slightly disappointing. I know it is a Nutcracker, but I don't know. I just feel like there could be a little bit more details there. But you know, I really do think that's pretty much the only negative thing I have to say about the skin other than that. I mean, I really love that we have the unique voice on. Not many skins get that. I love that we got one for Zenyatta. And I went through a Nutcracker phase when I was a kid, so I have a really soft spot for like Nutcracker things. I probably have at least 50 like, I'm not even kidding you. I think I have like at least 50 Nutcrackers in my house because of my little phase when I was a kid. So I really do like Nutcrackers. I think they're so cool. And I really like that he has that hinged jaw. I wish it actually, you know, moved. I wish like in game that there was some way to like move the jaw. You know, I think that would have been a cool little detail. I mean, I really love the face. I love the nuts around Zenyatta. I think that's fantastic. And you know, because of all of those things, I'm gonna rate this skin like, I think it deserves an 8 out of 10. I feel like just because the legs and the arms are boring, it doesn't get anything other than that. But I really do think this is a great legendary skin for Zenyatta, and especially with that, you know, new ult voice line, it is totally worth it. So anyways, thank you so much for watching. I will see y'all later.